A homeowner thinks, what do I hate about my kitchen? A designer thinks, what do you love about your kitchen? It's very important when designing a kitchen to pay attention to the parts of the kitchen that are already working well for you. As the one using the kitchen, it can be very easy to get lost in the midst of all the negative aspects of your kitchen. And no doubt there's lots of negatives. However, there are ways that our kitchens work for us and function well for us that we do love. So including them in your next layout or even making them better in the new design is something very important to think about. The new kitchen should fix the bad, but capitalize on the good. A homeowner thinks, I want more drawers. A designer thinks, what cabinet options are best suited for the intended use? It's not new information. The more drawers you have, the better. Yes, adding drawers in your kitchen will likely improve the scenario, but don't blindly add drawers just for the sake of it. Always consider the cabinet options for every cabinet location and decide what the best option is for the intended use. A wide 3-drawer cabinet is awesome, unless the situation calls for a narrower 4-drawer cabinet and a trash pullout. To the best of your ability, use a floor plan and an elevation view of your kitchen to determine each cabinet's use. Then decide if a drawer cabinet is the best option or not. However, when in doubt, a drawer cabinet is probably the best solution if you just don't know what to do. A homeowner thinks kitchen triangle. A designer thinks efficiency between many zones, referred to as workflow. The kitchen triangle is a prolific concept, but making mention of it does not make you a designer. At its best, it's a starting point to help you think about efficiency between many workflows within your kitchen. Unless you're watching this in the 1940s, and then it's mind-blowing. Kitchens have multiple dedicated work zones that should be planned for. Preparing, cleaning, cooking, serving, social, restocking, specialty use like baking, coffee, wine, storage. Each of these have specific cabinet options, appliances, and space requirements in order for them to be functional and at the same time connect seamlessly to each other. If a triangle is where you end up, then that's great. But chances are you'll have multiple intercepting work zones, creating a highly functional space. A homeowner thinks, I should book a consultation with Mark to review my kitchen plans. A designer thinks, that's a flippin' great idea. He'll answer questions, give layout options, talk through lighting, countertop storage, the overall function of your kitchen. And there's a link in the description of this video where you can book a call. And he hopes to meet you. I hope to meet you. A homeowner thinks biggest island possible. A designer thinks balance of storage and surface. I work a lot with clients both here on the internet and in my daily life. A reoccurring question I often get is, can I fit a kitchen island? It's a great question, but it's the wrong question. A designer isn't thinking about your island. They're thinking about the balance of storage and countertop within your whole entire space. These are your two biggest problems after all. Now, an island can potentially solve these issues, but it also could add a whole host of other issues that hinder function. A designer's job is to work through the entire layout to make sure you have a proper balance between what you need to store, where it needs to be stored, how much clearance you'll need around it, and how often you'll be using it. And then decide on the best solution, which might be a kitchen island, or it could be a peninsula, or it could be neither. A designer never enters a room and thinks, we need to get a kitchen island in here. And if they do, they're putting the cart before the horse. Just saying. A homeowner thinks, wow factor. A designer thinks, symmetry. No one cares about wow factor anymore. You've seen so many kitchens on Pinterest and House that it's silly to think that anyone, including yourself, will really be wowed by anything you do in your kitchen design. A designer's mind thinks in terms of symmetry within the kitchen, how the entire design fits together to form one cohesive and impressive space. Symmetry in function, style, texture, placement, and materials. Sometimes this symmetry is subtle, sometimes it is very bold, but it should never be about one defining focal point. That's a thing of the past. A homeowner thinks how to use every square inch. A designer thinks how to efficiently use the kitchen. For some reason, homeowners have this urge to utilize every possible inch of their kitchen. I totally get it. No wasted space. It sounds very reasonable. However, so much space is wasted in modern design because of poor planning that it's a futile exercise to try to maximize every single square inch of your kitchen. A designer is thinking about efficiency of the space. It's a completely different way to think about it. One example that I use far too often is the corner cabinet example. I will often block off a kitchen's lower base corner cabinet in order to more efficiently use the adjacent space on either side for functions like better storage or accessibility. And I'm often met with pushback that I'm wasting tons of space. A homeowner may prefer to keep the corner cabinets and toss in a lazy Susan, thinking that they've now utilized what I was going to block off and waste. But what they don't know is that the lazy Susan, because of its size and shape, actually wastes slightly more space than blocking it off does. 34% of a cabinet instead of 33%. So the issue is not about wasting space, but about the efficiency of each solution. If a lazy Susan is more efficient in your kitchen, then you should use that. If blocking off the corner is more efficient, then you should go that way. But wasting space should never be the defining factor. Make the decision based on efficiency, not just capacity. I hope that makes sense. A homeowner thinks budget constraints. Yuck. A designer thinks investment possibilities. Every designer wishes for an unlimited budget. What a dream. But the reality is, that's not reality. Budgets are a thing, and for most homeowners, they are very aware of where and how their money is being spent in a renovation. Their budget determines the possibilities, but that's their problem. Designers think about possibilities and the overall investment. That's why we're always asking for more money. Sorry. Of course, we run into a problem because possibilities are endless and budgets are not. But that will work itself out. My job as a designer is to explore all the options regardless of budget. This is the best way to land on a design that is uniquely functional and serves the client's needs the best. Homeowners only think that they know what's possible because they look at everything through the lens of constraint. But let your designer run wild with ideas. It might drive you absolutely nuts, but it is how you get the most out of us. It will help you get the best design for the budget, which in the end of the process will lead to a better investment, function, resale, or home value, and the feeling that you've gotten the most value out of your dollar. A homeowner thinks pendants from Home Depot or wherever. A designer thinks lighting layers for aesthetic and function. Homeowners are much more aware these days about lighting needs. Years ago, it was an afterthought and one that didn't get much thought at all even then. So times are changing. However, I've seen your mood boards. They are more focused on how your pendant matches your faucet than on how the lighting layers work together to create an optimal work environment. I know they are. You got the faucet and the pendant and all the stuff. I get it. It's cool. Nothing is wrong with matching a fixture to a faucet, but that's Design Class 101. A designer can do that in their sleep. What we're really thinking about is how the room is lit, where the natural light is, where the fixtures are best placed, how the light is complementing the intended function of a section of cabinetry, how many lumens are needed, the color temperature, the reflection, the ambiance. I'd say lighting is the most complicated aspect of design. If you're a designer, you should definitely be thinking and investing more time in learning about lighting, and let your assistant mix all the metals. A homeowner thinks big picture, and a designer thinks small details. I want a white shaker kitchen with a walnut island and cabinets that go to the ceiling, all quartz countertops, and a pot filler over the range. That's big picture stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. That is the exciting part of the kitchen design that you should be dreaming about as a homeowner. A designer is thinking about the small details that maybe no one else will even really notice, but they know will make the design and the layout that much better. It could be how a countertop finishes into the side of a pantry, or maybe the way a toe kick is mounted on an island. They may be in the weeds thinking about a negative, positive, or zero reveal for your undermount sink, or how to utilize all the available space above your fridge. I mean, they may even be losing sleep over a 3 or 4 inch reveal around your window and the amount of translational symmetry between the archway leading into your living room and the niche shelf behind your range. When the small details are done well, the big picture will be that much better. Oh, and if you're a designer and you're losing sleep over a client's renovation, you should try to find ways to deal with that stress. It's not worth losing sleep over. Now, if you're a homeowner and you're losing sleep over your renovation, that's normal.